Okay, so at the beginning of this virtual semester, if you will, I said we were going to kind of layer and progress as we go on. And this week is, I think, if this is your first time, it'll be totally fine. But if you've been with us the whole summer, I think this week is a really fun way to almost track your progress or surprise yourself with your progress, if you will, or maybe how your body has changed and your integration has changed. So today is about kind of testing our boundaries, and we're doing that by trying to get on our hands a little bit. So in LYT, we always do a lot of hand weight bearing, but today we're going to see if we can add some little hops, maybe start getting the pelvis up in space, maybe the feet will come off the mat. Now, if you hear that and you shriek and do not want to do it, you always have options to keep your feet on the ground. You know, I think I was going to call this the handstand class, but there's no merit in striving for this one handstand pose. It's not about that. It's about testing how much of our upper back we can be integrated, and it's kind of like a great litmus test to see how integrated we are when we start testing the ease of starting to flip stuff upside down. So that's not to say if it's tricky to go upside down, you're not integrated when you're vertical, but it's just the next phase of integration. So once you feel really solid on your feet, you can start to integrate, you know, the strength in your upper back and your core upside down. So things that we need for that is quite an open back chain. So we're going to be opening up, you know, down the hamstrings, low back. Also integrated core, of course, as we need for everything, and a nice strong upper back with shoulder blades on the back. So as usual, I'll start cueing the class from up here with the video, and then once we close out, block our Zoom meeting, I'll move to my mat. But you guys can start on your backs for our low bridge pose. So bring the feet to the mat, knees are up towards the ceiling, and the legs are in line with the hip sockets, where you would imagine your thigh bone enters your pelvis. And you can lay back on your back and just feel some length in the spine there. Take a big inhale. And exhale, curl that tailbone up and use the glutes, come up into a low bridge pose. Remember, we're maintaining the length in the low back there and getting the sensation of the front body knitting towards the center line and then pulling back into the spine. It's almost like envisioning we had a parallel spine on our front body that we could pull back and fuse into our spine. So you're in this bridge. If you want a little bit more, you can always add a small glute pulse, which would be just lifting the pelvis maybe an inch or two up and down. Starting to wake the glutes up, always so important to keep a neutral pelvis, which is really key if we're going to try to invert a little bit. So you can have the pulse, you can not have it, but we'll press the palms up to the ceiling, flexing at the wrist, so like you were carrying a tray, and then pull back on the right fingers with the left hand. Open up the forearm. Again, this is really helpful when we start weight bearing a lot in the arms, because the wrists need a little bit of a warm up before we call on them to hold us up. And then we will switch hands. You can pull back on the left fingers with the right hands. If you're just coming in, we're in a low glute bridge. And now keep those palms pressed up to the ceiling. In your low bridge, you can keep the pelvis up. If it starts to get into your low back, go ahead and lower to the floor. Now start to pull the humeral heads, which is the back of the shoulder, into the floor. So feel like that back of the shoulder joint is going to pull into the floor. And at the same time, keep the front of the rib cage contained. So it's going to want to flare up to let that happen, but keep that controlled. And then go back to your more habitual neutral place. And same thing again, pull the back of the shoulder joint into the mat. Feel that integration, and that's ideally what we're going for when we go upside down, that much strength in the back. I'm locking the Zoom meeting. We've got one more thing to do in this bridge. So glutes are cooking, it's okay. So pull those shoulder blades into the mat. And then with that sensation, we'll draw the elbows down into the mat and push into the mat with the elbows, the back of the arms, and almost like you could pull your shoulder blades towards your spine, opening the chest a little bit. And return those palms up to the ceiling. And then pull elbows down, all slightly drawing the shoulder blades towards the spine. Maybe your chest starts to open a little, but keep the ribs contained. Glutes are on, one more time. Arms up to the ceiling. Draw those elbows down by the waist into the mat. And then use that pressure to draw the shoulder blades towards midline. And release and lower to the floor finally. Give a little shake with the legs. I've got some pop-ups on my window. Let me just close them. Okay. Now we're gonna go into our ab work here. Legs can be up towards the ceiling. Also, if that doesn't feel good, you can always keep them down on the floor. Interlace the hands behind the head. Elbows lift up to the ceiling. Inhale there. Exhale, use the knitting together of the rib cage to lift the head and shoulder blades off the mat. Pause here. Draw that front body, imaginary parallel spine into the back body, and then lift the elbows up to the ceiling. So the hands stay on the head, but you get more integration in the shoulder blades. And inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Front body draws down, elbows lift up to the ceiling. And inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Elbows draw up to the ceiling, pause. This time extend the left arm up so it's parallel with the left leg. Then draw the left arm over in a twist so it's more in line with the right leg. Return the hand back to your head, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. At the top, those elbows lift. Keep pulling down in the front ribs and then reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then twist just a bit, draw the right arm towards the left leg. Hand returns, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Last add-on here. Elbows lift up to the ceiling. Left arm extends. Left arm reaches towards the right leg. Add that twist. Now try to flare the right elbow out to the right. It's so intense on your oblique. And return to neutral, inhale. Oh, wow, that was intense. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Elbows pull up to the ceiling. Right arm extends. Right arm reaches over to the left leg. Maybe flare this left elbow. Ooh. And return lower. Oh my goodness. So good. Now we're gonna come up and around onto all fours. Make your way there in any way that's easy, comfortable. And take a second, let's give some attention to the wrist. So I want you to line the crease of the wrist, look at that line, and make sure it's parallel to the mat. And that might mean that the hands flare out a little, or maybe even flare in. It's really dependent on the wrist joint, but that's okay if the fingers aren't perfectly perpendicular to the front of the mat. And then just give a little rock forward over the wrist, a little stretch, and back, and forward, and back, forward. Keep length in that spine, and back, forward, and forward last time. Now make sure the knees are under the hips here. Tuck your toes, and hover the knees just an inch off the mat, but keep the shoulder blades on the spine, or excuse me, on the rib cage, like we practice in our low bridge. So like you're pulling the back of the shoulder joint into the mat. It's that same feeling here. Spine doesn't move. Front body draws into the back. And lower those feet. Take an inhale. Oh, it feels a lot freer now. Exhale. Draw shoulder blades onto the back. Hover the knees. In a sense, this is kind of an arm balance, isn't it? Lower those knees. Take an inhale. Exhale. Shoulders draw onto the back. Knees hover. Front body's pulling into the back body. And lower those knees. This time we'll lower the elbows, the forearms, coming into a dolphin. So you can either interlace the fingers or keep the arms parallel. Before we move into it, puff between the shoulder blades, that upper back. Let the head release. Head isn't on the floor, but it's lifted. Tuck the toes, and then lift the pelvis up into space. You can bend the knees a ton here. And just feel this first, this is an inversion, we're already there. Getting upside down, feeling that front body pulling into the back body and sensing how that's different upside down. Now lift the left leg, bend the left knee, but don't extend the hip. So you're gonna keep the left thigh by the right leg and then just pull the left thigh towards you. You'll feel the hip flexors really light up and then release. And pull the left thigh towards you. Hip flexors, psoas waking up and release. One more time, pull it towards you. Press those forearms into the mat. Lift in the armpits. Lower that right foot and switch legs. We're almost there. Right knee bends. Exhale, pull that thigh in towards you. And release. And pull it towards you. Release. Pull it towards you. Feel like your energy's pulling up into the pelvis and let that foot lower. Lower those knees. Take a child's pose. Knees can be wide here. And then walk the hands forward. Continuing to keep the lift in the front body, lifting into the back body. You can be up on the fingertips, whatever feels good here. And then we'll make our way to standing at the top of the mat. Bend into those knees and hips and rise to Tadasana. Now at the top, take a second, bring some buoyancy into the knees and squeeze the glutes. And you'll just feel, we just did a lot of flexion work in the hips, so this is opening it a little. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Imagine already this is like a handstand position. We're just not in the right orientation. So feel that length and alignment. And then exhale, sit back, bend the knees, forward fold. Right foot steps back, lower the knee and the top of the foot. And inhale, rise for your low lunge. And now this time we'll bring the arms forward in front of us and open up arms to the side. And I want you to feel that the shoulder blades are your motor for that. So it's not that we're flinging the arms back, but that the shoulder blades are moving on the back to open up the chest. Plant the hands on the mat, draw shoulder blades onto the back. Remember them pulling into the mat. And then exhale, lower knees. Keep the chest open, lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Root the pubic bone down. Exhale, lift into down dog. Step that right foot forward, lower the left knee, top of the foot, half kneel. Inhale, lift. Now as we exhale, hands come forward and open up from the upper back. Feel the rhomboids drawing towards your spine, pulling those shoulder blades in a little bit. And exhale, plant the hands in front of the foot, step the left foot forward. Generous bend in the knees there. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant the hands. Left foot steps back, lower the knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Now we'll quickly take this chest opener and then bring the fingertips to either side of the right foot, tuck the left toes. Shift this whole shape back in space, hovering the left knee off the floor. We're in a runner's stretch. The front knee can be super bent, and you can be way up on the fingers, or if you even have blocks or a book, you can lift your spine even more here. Now plant the hands in front of the foot, step back for plank. Glutes are on, shoulders on the back. Lower the knees and lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Left foot steps forward, lower the right knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, arms forward and open out, expanding your wings. And fingertips come to either side of the left foot. Tuck right toes, sit back for a runner stretch. Really flexing into this left hip, but maintaining length in the spine and lift in the front body. We'll walk the hands in front of the left foot, step the right foot in, bend those knees. Inhale, lift. Moving on to our first sequence. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant the hands. Right foot steps back, lower that knee. Keep the toes tucked this time, and inhale, lift, arms overhead. Squeezing that right glute. Feel opening in the front body. And then bring your plank hands in front of you. Same sensation, draw the humeral heads back in space. Feel the shoulder blades on the back. Now squeeze the left glute, shift slightly forward, lift the right knee, maybe to a crescent lunge. Arms come overhead, and press the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep flexing at the wrist. Inhale. Exhale, lower that right knee. Plank arms return. Squeeze the left glute. Inhale. Exhale, shift, arms lift, crescent lunge. Squeezing right glute, ribs moving back in space. Now bring the hands to the mat, three-legged down dog, left leg sweeps back, and pause. I want you to feel you're pressing into all of the mounds of the fingers, which is where the finger meets the palm, and use that pressure in the mat to lift the armpits away from the floor, and in turn, lift the rib cage away from the floor. So we don't want to be sagging here. Inhale. Exhale, you'll sweep the left foot forward, but nothing else moves. So you're just pulling from the hip flexion, pulling this left foot forward. Maybe it moves a couple inches, maybe it moves a foot, who knows? Inhale, return, three-legged down dog. Exhale, draw that forward from the front of the hip. Don't let the upper body sag. Inhale, return. Exhale, drawing thigh towards you, keeping that leg straight to some degree. Inhale, return. This time, exhale, step the left foot forward. Step the right foot out to the right just a bit. And we're coming into this pyramid pose. So this will look slightly different for everyone. You can have a bend in the front knee. You can slightly turn out the toes of the right foot, almost like a warrior one, if that feels good. But we want to have an even pelvis and back. And I want you to make sure that the hands still have energy into the floor. So this is that opening up of the back chain. I hope you feel it. I feel it. Breathing here. We worked a lot on this hip flexion here. We'll open it up in a second. Keep pulling the front body into the back body. One more inhale. And exhale, lower the right knee under the hip. Open up for a modified side plank. Couple of options. You can have the left foot just surging behind you here, Or if you can lift the left foot, you can try to grab the top of the left foot with the left arm and squeeze the left glute, opening up that left front of the hip. Little counter pose for all of the hip flexion, psoas activation. But that really comes in handy for trying to get up on our hands. Having a strong, supple psoas. One more breath here. Drawing those ribs back in space. Feel the right shoulder blade on the back. And then step the left foot forward. We'll turn all the way to the back of the mat. Bend into the right knee and then sit the hips back for our runner stretch. We've been here before. Now that upper body should be similar to our pyramid, where it's nice and long over the legs. If that means you're up on your fingers, that's fine. But don't let those ribs sag. Inhale here. Exhale, keep the length in the spine. Shift the weight forward for a standing L. So plant the hands in front of the right foot and lift that left leg to more of a 90-degree shape. We're not going for height of the leg, but evenness of the pelvis. And you can get a sense of dialing the hands out on the mat, almost like you could rotate both hands in opposite directions. Lower those left toes, shift the weight back for our runner stretch again. Pulling into the front body. Exhale, shift it forward, standing L. One more time, shift it back, runner stretch. Lengthen that spine, feeling that opening of the back, especially the right side of the back, hamstring. And then shift it forward, standing L here. We're gonna make our way to stork pose with that left knee towards the chest. So come to standing in any way that feels good, and then lift that left knee. Now take a second, bring the left hand to the back of the pelvis, actually both hands, and feel that there is an evenness here. We don't want the left hip to be jutting forward. And then we're gonna step the left foot behind us, shift our weight onto the left foot, suck the right leg in, and feel that pelvis come to an even place. Right foot steps back, weight into the right foot, suck the left femur into the hip joint. And put that foot down. Inhale, arms lift overhead, flex at the wrist again. So like you're pressing that tray up. And imagine yourself in this shape just flipped upside down. Just a moment for imagery here. Feel what integration you would need, where you might need to add some more strength. Exhale, sit back in the hips for a bent knee forward fold. Walk the hands forward, pause in a plank. We'll, as if we were starting a lawnmower, pull this right elbow up to the ceiling, plant the right hand, sit back into a crouch in this plank, and then twist the knees over to the left side. So we're moving the pelvis here over to the right. And then shift it forward. Right elbow pulls up and back. Plant the hand, twisted plank, knees go left. Shift it forward, plank, lawnmower. And twisted plank. Shift it forward, lawnmower, last time. Sit those hips back, bend the knees, twisting over, same direction. And then just lift into your down dog. Let's take a second. Feel that same sensation, hands pressing into the mat, feel your strength. But let's take a big inhale and collective scream. Sorry about your ears, but just let it out, let something out. Inhale, maybe blow through the lips. Just something. And we'll go straight to the right side. Step that right foot forward, lower the left knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Feel that rise here. And exhale, hands come to this plank position. Pull the back of the shoulders on as if you were pulling them into the mat. Now turn the right glute on, tuck the left toes. Inhale, exhale, shift and lift for your crescent lunge, but keep that left knee bent. Left glute is on. Press up into the ceiling. Inhale here. Exhale, return to your low lunge, gentle descent there. Draw those shoulder blades on the back, ribs are in. Inhale, exhale, squeeze right glute, lift into your crescent. Pressing the ceiling away, pulling front ribs into the back body. Feeling that length. Inhale here. Exhale, plant the hands, three-legged down dog. Right leg sweeps up and back. Find the connection between hands and floor. Feel how that lifts you up, away from a sag. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep this right foot forward. Try to keep it straight, just hovering off the mat. Inhale, return. Exhale, we pull forward at the crease of the hip. Getting those hip flexors activated, hovering the right foot. Inhale, return. Exhale, right foot slides forward, hovering. Inhale, return, one more time. Exhale, hover that foot. Inhale, return, and this time step the foot forward for our pyramid. So you can bend into the right knee. Maybe you step the left foot out a little, maybe you turn the toes out a little. But whatever your position, I want the feet on two different lines, like two different tracks, align with your pelvis. And then a sensation of evenness in the pelvis. You can check by bringing the hand to the back of the sacrum area. You can be up on the fingertips, on blocks. And then pull that front body up into the back. Oh man, it's okay to let some sound out. I'm telling that to myself because I'm alone in my house screaming. Maybe you need to hear it too, I hope so. One more breath. And then as we exhale, plant the left palm, lower that left knee, and slide the right leg back, modified side plank. Feel the left shoulder blade on the back, really strong, and then maybe you can lift the right leg. If that feels okay, you can bend that right leg, grab it with the right hand. And rather than trying to jerk the foot towards you, think more about pressing the right hip forward with the right glute. Super active stretch. Just feeling some opening after that activation. One more breath. And then we'll step the right foot forward, turn all the way to the front of the mat, sit the hips back, runner stretch. So the left leg is forward, buoyancy in both knees, right knee is hovering off the mat. And here we go, shift the weight forward, hands move forward, standing L. If you need a little help in the left hip crease, you can bring the fingers into that crease area and just move the femur back. Lower those right toes, shift the weight back, runner stretch. Oof, you will feel a difference from each side, that's okay. Exhale, shift it forward, standing L. Feel length, but strength in the front body. Lower those right toes, shift the weight back, runner stretch. And exhale, shift it forward, standing L. Remembering drawing the backs of the shoulders into the mat. We're doing that here. But it's strong, it's not a sag. Really strong. It's very hard. Inhale. We're making our way to stork pose, right knee will lift. So we come through standing, use that left glute. Right knee lifts. Reach those arms overhead. Oops. I wiggled. And then bring the hands to the back of the pelvis. Feel that it's even. Step the right foot behind you slightly, shift that weight, and pull the femur of the left leg into the pelvis. Step the left foot back, shift into that leg, and pull that right femur into the pelvis. Lower that foot. Inhale, arms lift. Press the ceiling away. Imagining your handstand here. Feeling length and strength through the core. And then inhale. Exhale, come into our bent knee forward fold. Walk it forward. Plank position. Squeeze those glutes. Keep the pelvis neutral here. Left arm pulls the lawnmower, elbow up to ceiling. Plant that hand. Sit the hips back. Crouch with a twist over knees to the right side. Back to plank. Exhale, left elbow pulls. Plant that hand. Shift the hips back. Knees over to the right. Shift it forward, lawnmower. Hand plants. Add your twist, knees to right. Pelvis to the left. Shift it forward, lawnmower. Plant the hand, shift it back. Back to plank. And lift into your down dog. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. One more inhale. As you exhale, let the neck go. Don't let that take over. And then we'll slowly walk the feet forward. Bent knee forward fold at the top. Inhale, rise. Squeeze those glutes. And bring the hands to heart center. Close the eyes for a second. Sense that work. Here we go. We're going to start to kind of test our boundaries a little bit. Inhale, arms lift forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant the hands, and step back for plank. You can lower the knees and lower to the floor or lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Now here's a moment we can test a little bit. Inhale, lift up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. And you can try just hopping, imagining the pelvis lifting up in space, hopping forward. You can always walk it. Inhale, arms lift, Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, plant the hands, step back for plank. Lower those knees, lower to the floor, or take a chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Walk those feet in a touch. Inhale, lift on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or hop forward, but feel the weight in the hands as you do it. Inhale, lift, Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Last time. You can go straight to down dog or take this vinyasa. Whatever feels good. Use your glutes. And lift into down dog. Pause here. Inhale, we'll lift the left leg. Three-legged down dog. Now we're going towards a goddess. You can just step the foot forward, that's fine. Or you can bend the right knee, push off the right toes, and pull the right femur into the hip for a little hop. So if you want to test that, just take a couple minutes, or seconds, I guess, bending that right knee, push and pull the right hip towards you. Bend the right knee, push, pull that thigh towards you. You can even try a switch in midair if you want. And then step the left foot forward, turn to the side of the mat. Goddess, we made it. Feel the length in the spine here. Reach the arms up overhead, interlace the knuckles, reaching up to the ceiling. Breathe here, and exhale, bend over to the right side just a little. Keeping length, strength in the front body. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, bend over to the left. Come back to vertical, inhale. Let these arms drop, and then roll the shoulders. Feeling movement in the upper back, stability in this low body. Grooving it out. And we'll turn to the back of the mat. Plant the hands, we're heading to dolphin. You can lower through the knees, lower the forearms if you want, and then lift. Or you can go straight into your dolphin. We'll sweep the right leg up here, three-legged dolphin, pelvis is neutral. And then lift and lower the left heel. Feel that this might be way more open than it was at the start. Finding your breath here, pressing forearms into the mat. Feeling as you rise on the toes, a little more demand in the upper body. And then we'll pause, no more pulse. Press into the palms, lift the elbows, right foot steps forward, lower the left knee. Left hand stays on the floor, open up the right arm. Oh, glorious twisted low lunge. And then you can bring the right hand behind the head, lean the head back into the hand, and you'll feel that even more directly in that low quadrant of the outer hip and the low back. Breathing here. Lots of power, so we're kind of taking a second. Extend the right arm up to the ceiling if it's not. Plant the hand on the mat and then slide both feet back for a plank. Lower the knees and pause. We're gonna do a few half push-ups. Really pull the front body into the back. Imagine your front body was almost like a wooden plank that you're being picked up, like down and up on. So inhale, exhale, lower halfway, keep the chest open. Push the floor away, return. We'll do 3 more. Lower halfway, push the mat away. 2 more, here we go. Halfway, push the mat away, use your glutes. Last time, lower halfway, pause, and lower to the floor. Oh my goodness. Arms come out to goal post, leading just off of your shoulders, so they're in line with the shoulders. Feet stay on the floor. Pubic bone anchors to the mat. Inhale, lift your goalposts like you were coming out of the water, but don't let that get into your low back. Exhale, plant the hands under the shoulders, lift through down dog. Immediately step the left foot forward, turn to the right side. Side lunges here, just bend side to side. Sitting back in the hips, you can have the hands off the floor, whatever feels like you're integrated, like you've got the spinal integrity there. If you want to try a little bit more integrating the hands on the mat here, you can plant the hands in front of the left foot, shift the weight into it, maybe hover the right foot in abduction. If you're doing that, lower the right foot, switch sides. Hands plant, maybe hover left leg. One more time each side. If you're doing that, you do not have to. You don't have to do anything. Last time, hands plant, or you're just moving and grooving here. Lower that foot, turn to the front of the mat. Right to the other side, right leg, three-legged down dog. Now we're going to goddess. You can add that hop if you'd like. Remember, the action is pulling the left thigh towards your body. So inhale, exhale, bend the knees, push off the left toes, pull the thigh in. Oops, you can try a couple. It's okay to fall. It's okay to flop, but really press those palms into the mat. And then we'll step the right foot forward, turn to the left. Goddess, we did it. This time, bring the hands as if they were in goalposts, but on a table. Inhale here. Exhale, pull the shoulder blades towards your spine and back. Ribs stay contained. And release. Inhale. Exhale, pull them towards your spine. Pull those ribs back in space too. Release. Inhale. Exhale, ribs draw towards each other. The shoulder blades move back. And release, roll it out again. Strong bottom. Open top, like you could just do whatever you want up here. We'll turn to the back of the mat for dolphin. Lower through the knees again, or just sweep the leg back and lower the forearms. Press those forearms into the mat. Keep the lift in the armpits. Maybe lift and lower that right leg. Feeling extra demand on the upper body, but the shoulder blades are really on the ribs. We'll pause our pulse here. Press into the palms, lift the elbows. Left foot steps forward, right knee lowers, twisted low lunge. Feel the right shoulder blade draw onto the back. Left arm lifts up. And then you can bring the left hand behind the head, maybe lean the head back over to the right, leaning it into this left palm. Oh, this side's way tighter for me. So I feel you if you're in the same position. We'll extend the left arm up. Here we go. Plant the hands, step back for plank. Squeeze those glutes. Shoulders on the back, lower those knees. We'll do 4. Halfway, lower. And push. And lower. And push. Ribs drawing in, lower. Don't let them dip. Push. Last time, lower halfway. Lower all the way. This time, bring the knuckles kind of next to the rib cage, elbows pointing up. You can press the forehead into the mat. Now you'll push the knuckles into the floor. Draw the shoulder blades towards your spine. Root the pubic bone. Release that, and now you're going to try to hover the knuckles off the mat. So pull those elbows up to the ceiling. My gosh, it's really hard. One more each way. Forehead lowers, push the knuckles into the floor, shoulder blades towards spine. Release. Now we try to hover. Elbows pull up towards the ceiling. Lower. Palms plant, lift into down dog. One big breath, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot forward, turn to the left for your side lunges. So all those options exist for you here. You can stick with any version of side lunge we've done so far. You can also add this version of planting the hands and then abducting opposite leg. No pressure. But just try to keep that pelvis even, whatever you're doing. And the length in the spine, shoulder blades on the back. Right, that's not too many things, that's a million. I always laugh when I say, oh, it's just doing this, and it's really 10 million things to think about. But it's practice. And this last time, we'll turn to the front of the mat, step the right foot forward, bend, let the torso fall over the legs, this waterfall pose. Maybe grab opposite elbows and just hang there for a sec. Releasing the neck. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, lift. Towel off, grab some water. We are putting this together. It's a little bit of a smoother flow. A few more opportunities to play with, getting up on the hands. Let me quick look. I made this class today, so if I forget, please forgive me. Inhale, lift the arms forward and up. Exhale, we'll hinge at the hips, plant the hands. Left foot steps back, but keep the knee up this time, and we'll rise, crescent lunge. Flat palms up towards the ceiling, press the ceiling away. Inhale, exhale, hands come to your plank, just hover the right knee like a low lunge. And return, crescent lunge. Pressing the ceiling away. Exhale, hover that knee. One more, crescent, arms up. Low lunge, arms in our plank position. Plant the hands, left leg, three-legged down dog. Now we're doing this hovering left foot, sweep it forward move. You can add a hop as you extend the leg back, if you want. So we hover the left leg, you either extend and add your hop, and hover. Going at your pace, listening to your body. Last time we'll all meet three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Turn to the back of the mat. Runner stretch, right leg is forward. Inhale, exhale, shift it forward, standing L. Back to our runner stretch. Left toes lower. Shift it forward. You can, every time you shift forward, you can add a hop if you want, up onto the hands. Shifting back, runner stretch. But don't feel obligated. You're good in this standing L. Runner stretch. Standing L, option to add your hop. One more. We'll all meet in a standing L. Left leg is lifted. Inhale. Exhale, rise, stork pose. Left knee lifts. Arms extend up. Left foot steps back. Right femur pulls into the right hip. Right foot steps back. Left femur pull into that hip. Inhale, Tadasana. Imagine your handstand. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Walk it forward, plank. Pull up with this right elbow. Crouch, knees go over to the left. Shift it forward. And right elbow pulls up. Knees shift over to the left as you crouch. One more. Pull it up. Knees shift over. And then we come into a down dog. Left leg lifts, three-legged down dog. Option to add a hop. We'll meet in goddess. So that left leg comes forward, open up to the right. Let's just roll. I need some freedom in this moment. Rolling shoulders, feel some opening. Turn to the front of the mat for dolphin. Plant those hands, lower the forearms, right leg lifts. You can add your lift and lower of the heels. If you want to toy with a little forearm balance, you can start to shift off of the toes, but you don't kick the right leg, just a shift. We'll all press into the palms, lift the elbows, right foot steps forward, open the right arm, twisted crescent here. So we've got a long left knee, reaching the right arm up. Feels good. And then walk the hands over to the left, toes turn to the left, take your side lunges. If you liked this planted hand option, you can try flicking the base foot out to the opposite side. So it's like a little, almost like a straddle. So you plant the hands, left leg lifts, right leg flicks out to the right. Plant those hands. Oops, I got too high. Whatever. You can play with any version that feels good. Take it as slow as you want. And then we'll turn to the front of the mat. Let's go straight to the other side. Left knee bends. Rise for crescent lunge. Press those palms up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, lowering the left knee towards a hover. Arms come to plank. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Knee hovers, shoulders pull onto the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Knee hovers, arms in front of you. Plant those hands, three-legged down dog. Right leg lifts. Exhale, hovering the right foot, pull it towards you. Inhale, extend. Maybe you add that little hop. Whoops. Hovering right foot forward. Extend. No need to hop, only if you want. And right foot hovers. Pressing those arms into the floor. This time we'll step the foot forward. Turn to the back of the mat. Sit the hips back, runner's stretch. Big inhale. Exhale, shift it forward. Standing L. You again got the option, add the hop off the left toes. Shift it back. And standing L. Or hop. Shift it back. Standing L. Draw the chest through the arms. Shift it back, runner's stretch. Two more here. Any version. Shift the hips back, runners. We'll all meet, right leg lifted. Inhale, exhale, lift, stork pose, right knee to chest, or up. Arms extend. Right foot steps back, pulling left femur into the hip. Left foot steps back, shift the weight. Right femur pulls into the joint. Lower that foot. Inhale, press the palms up to the ceiling. Envision yourself upside down. You've got it. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Plant the hands, walk them forward. Left elbow pulls up, mower. Lower that hand, knees bend over to the right with a twist. Mower, left arm. Knees to the right. Last time, left elbow up, knees over to the right. And we lift into our down dog. We're almost there, home stretch. Right leg lifts here, heading to goddess. You can add a hop if you want, or just step it forward. Opening to the left, goddess pose. And we roll and we roll. You're here, you're focused, you're working, you're sweating. What more could you long for? Turning to the front of the mat for dolphin. Hands plant, left leg sweeps, forearms lower. Rise and lower. Right heel. Maybe you want to shift for a forearm balance. No obligation. Whatever feels good. We'll all press into the palms, lift the elbows. Left foot steps forward, open up to the left, twisted crescent. Oh, sweet glory. Feeling the opening in the outer left hip, and then walk it over to the right side of the mat. Side lunges. Ooh, really stretching into inner thighs. And then we'll slowly walk to the front of the mat. Briefly lower this right knee. You can lift here and feel the opening in the front of the right hip, or you can always reach with the opposite hand for the top of the foot and stretch the front of that right quad. But if that hurts the knee, there's no need to do it. Breathing there. And if you've got the foot, slowly release it. Tuck those toes, step back to down dog, and we'll switch legs. Right foot steps forward, lower that knee. Maybe you come up here, squeezing that glute, lifting up into the pelvis. Maybe you reach left hand to the mat, right arm around to grab that foot. Needing some opening in the front body after all of that. hip flexor psoas work. And then lower those left toes if you've got it. And we'll just scoot our way onto our backs in any way that's easy for you. You can grab hold of the knees as you make your way down. And then draw them towards you here. Moving to Shavasana. But first making some nice circles around the low back. I hope yours feels open and good. Mine was kind of cranky today, and even though it wasn't really the focus, I feel that it's a lot more open right now, which is great. It's all connected. And when you're ready, you can extend one leg and then the other. For Shavasana, you're also welcome to walk the feet wide on the mat and let the knees fall in towards center. Or even take Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the feet, the soles of the feet together, letting the knees open wide. Just find any position that feels really great for you today. And leverage all this physical work we did as a means of quieting the mind faster, right? We get all this physical energy out so that we can drop in more quickly and more effectively. So take a big inhale and release into the hum of your body and the quiet of your mind. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana longer, just go ahead and mute whatever device you are here on and stay as long as you'd like. If you're ready to move, take a big inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, let the air fill up all the caverns of your body. And exhale, feel some clearing there. On your next inhale, you can reach those arms overhead, maybe along the floor, like your body was being pulled in equal and opposite directions. Exhale, release. Slowly keep those eyes closed, make your way to a comfortable seat. Feeling sweat and the heat and how that's kind of opened up more space in your body. Maybe take a moment and think about, did something happen that surprised you? Did you do something you didn't know you could do? And remember that these edges, these boundaries we've created for ourselves are just that. They are our own creations. They're not real. And oftentimes we can surprise ourselves by surpassing them. So we continue to practice walking this fine line of honoring our intuition, honoring our gut, but also finding those moments we can just push a little bit, surprise ourselves. As always, thank you for joining me on your Monday afternoon, your energy, your work, your spirits. Have a beautiful week. Greet it with openness and willingness to be surprised. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. I'm around for questions. I'm very sweaty, so be prepared when I come towards the camera. But I'm around. I'll put contact info in the chat box too. Thanks.